This is Pauley Pavilion on the campus of UCLA, where today they will decide the Women's Intercollegiate Basketball Championship.
You know, I was competitive. I was a smaller version of David. I was intense. People have always appreciated the way David played the game with the great intensity that he showed on the floor. And I played exactly like David.
UCLA wins the national championship.
I think you could have a better birthday present.
Thank you, Captain. I don't think so. This is really something. You know, the team played super.
Congratulations, 4 years All-American, and now the national championship.
Pauley Pavilion is such a special place, and your number hangs from the rafters there.
I was honored with Denise Curry, who's an Olympian also and a three-time All-American, along with Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Walton, and Billy Moore was there, and Coach John Wooden. So it was a special night. For me, what I remember about that night, it happening, is that I had just had my second child. DJ was my oldest, and Darren had just been born. Darren was maybe about 3 months old. And it was the first time Don, my husband, had been to Pauley Pavilion. To have the number retired, and with them in the stands, along with my mom and a lot of my families. But to have Don there and the boys was pretty special.
Jim, tell us what you can remember of Ann Meyers, the great female basketball player.
Well, of course, she was a great female basketball player. Great basketball player, I might say, happens to be a female and broke so many barriers. But I knew her personally, and she was also a friend and a very an individual that had a lot of humility, but she's done so many things to further things in sports for the ladies, and man, I congratulate her. I remember her very well.
Do you think that pioneers such as she really are the ones who started the game for women, her particularly?
Well, there's no doubt about it. It takes that kind of person. I was talking and I was thinking of the other lady, Babe Dickinson-Harris, and those who know history should know who she is. So Ann Meyers is in that particular class, and what more can you say?
After UCLA, you mentioned you get a chance to try out for the Indiana Pacers.
I knew that my one goal was, an important goal, was to graduate from college. In 1978, the WBL came into existence, and I was the #1 draft pick. And I was like, well, you know, I want to stay amateur. And I want to go to the 1980 Olympics. And so I did not go into the WBL their first year of that league because I wanted to stay amateur. So now I'm playing USA basketball. And things really weren't, I wasn't real happy. I was 24 years old, and it was a tough time for me. And I get a call from Sam Nassy, who was the new owner of the Indiana Pacers. And he said, how would you like to try out for the Indiana Pacers? And I'm like, well, who is this? You know? But the more I thought of it, you know, I'm going to do it. In my heart, I wanted to go to represent our country and be on that 1980 Olympic team.
Your UCLA days, David Meyers.
Yes?
Yeah, I know you played with him a little bit, but tell me what you remember of his sister Annie.
Well, first of all, I know the whole family. I went to school with one of his older sisters. We're classmates. I know his mom. I love his mom. And I love Annie. And Annie is, she was after us, a little behind us, but just a phenomenal talent. And as you and I were discussing just now, I mean, I think the only woman to try out for the NBA, which is, you know, just crazy. I mean, crazy. Mad good. That's what that is.
Well, you know, Coach Wooden actually in a later interview was quoted saying that she's the one who really got women's basketball going nationally, off the ground, the whole movement. And I think she just played with such heart, even though she was 5'9".
Yes, tremendous heart. And so much heart that you didn't really know what her size was, you know, but she was just really a phenomenal talent and really was very important to the women's basketball taking off, yeah.
And I didn't realize the impact of the media. They were harsh on me, and I was not understanding of it because coming out of UCLA, they liked me, and now they were attacking me. You know, it's like, oh, how come? But it showed you how naive I was too in the media world. It was a 3-day camp for the free agents and rookies, and it was 2-a-days. And for me, physically, mentally, and emotionally, it was the best I was ever prepared to play the game of basketball. And it was tough on the guys. There was always that I think, microscope on them more so, and they hadn't been exposed to it, where I had been exposed to it my whole life. I was humbled by the sense when I tried out with the Pacers that I remember a reporter asking, "You're like the Jackie Robinson of women in basketball." And I thought, wow, that was a powerful statement. But it was very humbling and very honoring, because I wasn't carrying a flag for anybody at the time. I mean, you don't recognize that. I was just going to do something that I loved to do, playing basketball, and somebody gave me a chance to do it. But then when you look back, you see how many people it has affected.